Dun dun dun
Yeah.
dun 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 dun. Wow 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 wow.
Heck yes, brother. What's crack-a-lackin', everybody? Welcome to the
What is
cave.
happening?
Big edition of Cave Sports tonight. We're going to be doing a little NFL preview. But, it's your boy Phil the Burn. We got Francis here,
Yes,
co-host,
sir.
doing the co-pilot thing. Francis, how you doing on this
I'm doing
Labor
great,
Day
brother.
Eve?
I'm doing fantastic. Is that it's one of the best times of the year, like baseball is just all over TV, and it's not even the best time of baseball. We wait till October or September for
Mm-hmm.
that. But
Absolutely.
it's NFL season, baby. The preseason's done. I think
Yep.
everyone just got done drafting their fantasy drafts. It's time to make some picks, choose the right players, and have some fun. And to that, Sir Feel the Burn, let's do a little cheers real quick. I got a little blue
Cheers,
tea in
boy.
my hand.
Let's
There you
go.
go.
Bing, bing,
Bam.
bing, bing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
All right, Zach. So what are we doing? We're going to do a little cave fantasy football recap round by round.
So just to be consistent with how we do things around here. Check out the cave, k4v3.com for everyone watching and listening. Check us out on our website, k4v3.com. Us is /sports. That's 5P0RT5. Instagram, TikTok, X. We're all over Threads. We got the Discord as well. Check us out on the Discord. But yeah, dude, like you said, big draft weekend, for fantasy draft for sure. I think the last 2 days I had 5 drafts.
Oh, man,
I'm in a
you're
lot of
crazy.
leagues. I'm in too many leagues for sure. But hey, it's fun and people keep asking me and I keep saying yeah. So,
Hey, do what you
that's
gotta
my
do,
own
man.
fault. Exactly. But yeah, we're going to do a little cave fantasy recap of our draft that we had
Oh,
this past
man.
week. Big NFL preview. Like I mentioned, we're going to run through each division.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, we're going to pick our division winners as we go. We're going to hit you up with a little schedule look at for the primetime schedule this season. Some week 1 picks and predictions on that. And then we're going to give you a little surprise at the end with Super Bowl predictions by yours truly,
Oh,
Phil
yeah.
Bird and Francis. So,
Let's go.
without further ado, let's get into this draft recap. Francis, how do you think the draft went this year?
The draft was fun. It's my first time doing fantasy on ESPN, so I was kind of trying to get used to, the interface and all that. But it was simple enough.
What do you normally draft on?
I'm normally a Yahoo guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Yahoo for some reason. I feel like the rankings are a little bit more accurate compared to the ESPN rankings. But I know there's this other app called Sleeper that's on the come up right now that I hear is way more efficient compared to Yahoo and ESPN. So yeah, it was fun. I had fun. I had the 10th pick. I mean, I had the 8th pick, and you were the 10th pick.
I had number 10 based on our Cave Rumble.
I mean,
I think I might have been the only person that had 3 actual wrestlers in that wrestling Royal Rumble, and all 3 of them got eliminated first. So,
I mean, man, I had Goku in the beginning. It was looking good. I thought I was gonna get like top 5, and then I think I got not Mankind. I think I had Mankind, and he got thrown out real quick. So I forgot who my 3rd wrestler was, but it eventually led me to the 8th spot. So that's all good. I feel like there's some good value towards the later parts of that first round because it snakes it back to you pretty quickly. So yeah,
I feel like this was definitely a good year to be on the back end of the draft. From all the drafts that I've done so far, I've been normally towards like the bottom end of the draft, so I was kind of used to being. Today, with my drafts that I had, I was already used to being at the back end, so I kind of knew what to expect in that first round.
Yeah, you kind of know who's there and who's available.
So today I was drafted on ESPN and one Yahoo draft.
Okay.
And, it's funny you think that the Yahoo rankings are the most accurate because I do the worst in Yahoo drafts. Yeah.
You do the worst in Yahoo drafts?
Yeah, I do the worst in Yahoo. I don't win very many in Yahoo like I used to back in the day. But no, I like ESPN's user face and everything. I think it's more user friendly. But Sleeper, I mean, I know I've been saying it in our little pre-show, but no free ads. But Sleeper though is robust, man. There's a lot of features you can do on Sleeper if you're really into fantasy. Especially in the dynasty realm, like they got a lot going on over there.
Mm-hmm. So they're doing it right. I saw the interface on my buddy's laptop, and yeah, it looks really dope. Maybe next year we'll switch over to Sleeper, but
we'll migrate over there.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into it. Round 1 of our draft. I think it was pretty chalk up until pick 3. Pick 3 was the first kind of like, whoa, Naro, our boy Naro. Hopefully you get home safe. You're in traffic right now, buddy. But just know we're thinking about you. He picked Stephon Diggs 3 overall. I hadn't seen that yet.
Yeah, me neither.
So that was kind of a reach. I mean, just in general, but hey, it might pay off. If he ends up being the wide receiver 2, like, he's a genius.
Yeah, he might know something that we don't know, but you're right. Based on all the mock drafts I did prior to our actual draft, the Stephon Diggs was kind of going late first round, early second round, depending how many teams or players are in the draft. So I was shook when I saw that, but Naro's a knowledgeable NFL guy as well, so I'm not going to discredit him. He probably has a good feeling about Stephon Diggs, and he's definitely has that ceiling, that upside to become like a Justin Jefferson type of vibe, a Jamar Chase type of vibe. He's definitely as skilled as those 3 guys, and he has a sick quarterback named Josh Allen. So yeah, I don't think it's a weird pick. I was just caught off guard, but it's Stephon Diggs. It's not like he picked Odell Beckham Jr. in the first round. or went quarterback first, like a lot of
exactly. Like when they post these kind of recaps, it's like, oh my god, someone took a quarterback. No, but so I mean, Stephon Diggs is a first round talent, so I guess if you want to look at it this way, it's like he got his first round wide receiver that he wanted. Round 2. Let's see, I closed out with Devontae Adams, and then I picked up round 2 with Nick Chubb, which for me personally, I think Chubb has the potential to be RB1 this season.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But there's a lot of uncertainty with that team and how that offense is going to run. But word on the street was he was going to be worked into the passing game more. So I said, screw it. It's either between him and Tony Pollard. And I got to say, in the drafts that I've done, I don't have any Tony Pollard stock, which is kind of crazy because he's like the hotness this season. So I went ahead with Nick Chubb.
Yeah, that's a great pick. You can't argue that he definitely has that RB1 talent. I mean, it's really between him, Bijan, and Tony Pollard at that RB position that, in my opinion, that's going to fight for that RB1 in the ranking. But yeah, I would say solid pick. Any other picks in this round that kind of stood out to you?
Yeah, so we got the first quarterback taken in this round, Josh Allen.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And then
too.
Cooper Kupp. Recent news was saying that he re-aggravated his hamstring injury. So, word on the street is he might not be ready for a couple weeks. But they pretty much shut him down to just kind of revisit it, and his stock dropped this weekend. Yeah,
I had Cooper Kupp in one of my drafts, like literally 2 days before that news. So I took him with my 8th pick. And then it was just funny to see after those news, like he dropped down. Obviously, you can see your bottom of the second round, but I think that's still good value getting Cooper Kupp in the second round. He's definitely first round talent. You just don't know what that injury is like with their setback. So I think that's a great value there at second, last of the second round. So
yeah. And just for more, context on that, my last draft that I did today, I also had the 8th pick. Mm-hmm. I did not take him with the 8th pick. I actually took him with pick 3.8. He dropped all the way to the 3rd round for me.
Oh, wow. Crazy.
And so at that point, I was like,
you can't leave him there that long.
Yeah, and especially with my first 2 picks in that draft were Lamb and Tyreek Hill. So I was like, Kupp comes back, man. That's gonna be fun. The second half of this season is gonna be fun.
That's a pretty interesting strategy. I've been noticing a lot of people are going with 3 wide receivers the first 3 rounds, depending on what pick you are in the first round. But hey, you said you got Tyreek, CeeDee Lamb, and Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Oh, you're sitting pretty at like week 7, week 8.
Those are my first 3 picks, and now that's where, like, for me, when I look at this with like Cooper Kupp going at 210, like, I know team controller. I know he's a pretty savvy football mind, pretty savvy veteran player. So, like, when you trust yourself to be able to manage your team throughout the season, you can take that gamble on Cooper Kupp and let him kind of just sit, or, you know, and I saw some people with Jonathan Taylor too, which we'll talk about later in this draft. But like, when you trust yourself and you believe that you're a good fantasy player, like, you're gonna be able to survive taking that risk early, because it's gonna pay dividends later in the season.
Exactly. When it really counts, you'll be able to enter Cooper Kupp. So yeah, man, good stuff.
Moving on to round 3. Team controller taking Patty Mahomes. I think he had Patty last year too, if I'm not mistaken. You know, he's gonna be around that QB1 tier for sure. Third quarterback taken was by you, Jalen Hurts, which I feel like is this is like round 3 is when quarterbacks have normally been starting to get taken. You know, our draft a little different with the QB going in the first round. A name on this second round list that fell, Chris Olave, fell pretty far in our draft. My brother Crumble and Herb, I think that was a pretty good pick for him at the time. I think he started off with 2 running backs at first, so getting Chris Olave as your wide receiver 1 in the 3rd round, not bad.
Yeah, definitely got a new quarterback over there with Derek Carr. That NFC South, we'll talk about that later in the division preview, but they'll be competitive, so that's definitely a solid pick.
Yep.
I also like there's a couple names on the 3rd round that kind of stand out to me that on past drafts, I had 2 drafts before this. It's going to be 3 names: Amon-Ra, CeeDee Lamb, and Jalen Waddle. All 3 of those wide receivers went in the 2nd round, and the previous 2 drafts I've done, and you know, seeing them go 3rd, I think that's great value. They're all 3 of them are wide receiver 1. Actually, well, Jalen Waddle is a wide receiver 2 on his respective team, but that offense is explosive. And then you got Amon-Ra, CeeDee Lamb, solid wide receivers, great wide receivers, I should say. I feel like that was a steal for CD's Johnny Lance and Californication, grabbing those 3 wide receivers in the 3rd round. So props to them. Really great.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it paid off for our boy Proper being able to get Amon-Ra after he took quarterback in the 2nd round. Like, it kind of like, you can switch those and it would have been the same thing, you know.
Exactly. I think Californication got Jamar Chase in the 1st round with the 4th pick, and I've been seeing him go top 3 in most drafts. So he's got some talent on his wide receiver corpse.
Man chimes in. Brown picked up in round 3 is crazy, man. For sure. I think there's a name on here too. Jahmyr Gibbs is getting a lot of focus in the fantasy community. He's a rookie running back. I mean, that Detroit team, Detroit and Atlanta, I think were the top 2 rushing teams last year. So there's going to be a lot of work for these running backs to be able to provide value. So I feel like that's why he's skyrocketed up. 2nd round a little high, but at the same time, 3rd round a little high, but that's probably where I would have taken him to, probably in the back end. Like, if he would have been there at 30, I would have taken him for sure. Yeah. But instead, I took Mark Andrews because that leads us to round 4.
I was really hoping. In round 3, I was really hoping Jalen Waddle or Amon-Ra or CD would fall to me in the 3rd round. But since all 3 of them got snagged, I was like, all right, fuck it, it's time to go QB now with my boy.
And you taking your QB1 prompted me to take my QB1. So I said, screw it. I'm going to get Mark Andrews, and then I paired him with Lamar Jackson.
Hey, that's not bad at all, big dog.
I am a sucker for stacks. I think I have a stack in every one of my drafts of a quarterback with a pass catcher that's going to get a lot of attention. Yes. So in this one, it's happened to me, Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews has tight end 1 potential. I know Kelsey's had a stranglehold on the tight end position in fantasy, but Mark Andrews has a lot of potential. That offense, as we're talking pre-show, that they're going to be probably throwing it out a lot more. Not necessarily running the ball as much, not having the design runs for Lamar. Like, he might be improvising more, so he's going to have to trust his arm. And I think there's not too many good safety blankets in the NFL at tight end position other than Mark Andrews, you know.
Facts. So, I had Mark Andrews.
That was my reasoning.
I had Mark Andrews on my fantasy team last year where I won the championship. So I think after Kelsey, it's pretty much Mark Andrews. I don't think Kittle is that guy. Like, he's still really good, obviously, Kittle, but the quarterback play kind of makes him drop off a little bit. So that's a great pick with Mark Andrews pairing him with Lamar Jackson. So I think he did a solid job there, grabbing the tight end 2, in my opinion, in the 4th round. Because you can just, everyone knows tight end. You either get one of the top 5 guys and you set it and leave it, or you're streaming tight end almost every week. So you don't have to worry about your tight end position until the bye week.
Yeah, and they have as I said in their chat, they have a week 13 bye. So whoever plays me week 13, buckle up, because you're probably gonna get that dub.
I kind of did the same with AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. So week 10 is their bye week. So that's a week 10 problem. I'll figure that out later.
Exactly. Week 13, Zach is gonna have to figure that out on his own. But as of right now, I love it. Any other picks in this round that stand out to you?
D-Hop getting picked in the 4th round was surprising to me. I made fun of our boy Aaron CDs in the Discord because
the champ, right?
The champ, the defending champ. I told him he's drafting like it was 2016 or 2015. But, it is what it is. D-Hop's still a good wide receiver. I just don't think he's that guy anymore, especially on an offense that's mainly catered to Derrick Henry. And Ryan Tannehill is just, he's a middle-of-the-pack quarterback. I don't see him throwing dimes or dots to D-Hop. It's going to be, the volume might be there, but with Derrick Henry there, I'm not too sure what that offense is going to be like with D-Hop. But I think he would be a great pick if you got him in like the 7th round, 8th round. But 4 was a little bit of a reach. So I'd like to, Aaron's a Cowboy fan, so I like to rub it in his face a little bit. So it's fun to make fun of him. I got all love for him though, but when I can, especially on a podcast where you can't say shit right now, I'm gonna talk my shit.
Damn, can't even defend himself.
I know, it's funny.
Ruthless. We out here in the streets.
Hey, he's got to hop on with these podcasts. Then he's never on.
That's right. All right, round 5. Mm-hmm. So we kept it moving here with round 5. I think this is when the draft kind of got a little faster.
Yeah,
from what I remember.
Which was weird because I feel like the first 4 rounds should go by pretty quick, and then it slows down a little bit by 5 or 6. But yeah, it is what it is.
This is when I realized that we had a 3 wide receiver roster, which is hilarious because I proposed that. But I was like, oh crap, this is 3 wide receiver roster. So I went with the high upside play of Mike Williams, just me personally. Like, I always feel like Mike Williams has a lot of potential. But yeah, more quarterbacks taken here. Herbert, Fields, Burrow. Burrow kind of fell a little bit. Round 4, I think, is where I've seen him mainly. So, we talked about reaching with Aaron on the last round, then he got a pretty good value here with Burrow in the 5th round. So it kind of just balances itself out. Anything stand out to you in this one?
Nothing really too much. I feel like everyone picked here is kind of like in that realm of that 5th round. I don't see a lot of reaching. I see a lot of solid, good value picks. Just everyone picking their players based on what they feel like will help them get to the playoffs and a championship. So yeah, nothing too crazy. The only thing I have my doubts on is anybody on Green Bay. Christian Watson. I mean, with Jordan Love at quarterback, I'm just not too sure what that's going to be like. But at round 5, you might as well take a risk and see what happens, especially with Christian Watson being a skilled, talented player. I'm just not sure what that quarterback play is going to be like. So, and also with an offensive line that's a little shaky at times. I mean, they couldn't protect Aaron Rodgers a good amount of times last year. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not too sure about if any improvements were made with Green Bay, but that's just one player in this round that kind of stands out. And one last one is I picked DJ Moore. I think he's gonna have a resurgence in Chicago with Justin Fields. Again, but we don't know. I kind of took a risk on this because DJ Moore's a talented wide receiver, and I know Justin Fields came into his own towards the end of last year. So I'm kind of taking a risk there, high risk, high reward type of thing. So we'll see if DJ Moore is going to be the same DJ Moore he was when he had Cam as his quarterback.
Most of the good days of the DJ Moore era.
Yeah, exactly.
In fantasy, so I think a lot of people are hoping for that as well. He's been mocked kind of in that area, but as like a high upside candidate for the season. Moving on to round 6. Let's see, Mike Evans, Waller. Yep, so tight end Sagan. This was tight end 3?
Yeah, I think that's the third tight end taken.
It was, not bad, actually.
Yeah. Darren Waller's going to be good.
Yeah, I think he'll get a lot of love this year. That might have been the one thing that offense was missing last year was tight end. So it gives Daniel Jones more of more weapons to work with. Let's see, Alvin Kamara, another high upside pick for, of course, Aaron. I feel like every time I see someone, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. It's like, it's Aaron's team.
Yeah.
Which is pretty funny.
I mean, there is upside there, but you got to wait 3 weeks to see what it's like. And you just never know. Jamal Williams might pop off in week 3, and then Alvin Kamara comes back, and they might just slowly work him in. So, I don't know. I thought the past 2 drafts, he was going kind of like 8th, 9th, 10th round. But yeah, Aaron got to do what he got to do.
Legit Naro getting his quarterback Sunshine in this round.
Yep, Gallo Sunshine.
Pickens was a little bit of a reach in my opinion, but that's what Soul Controller. I mean, he's a Pittsburgh fan, so it makes sense.
Yeah, so you gotta
that guy has potential too.
Yeah, we'll just see how.
I like the Christian Kirk. I was gonna say I like the Christian Kirk pick because there's some rumblings about Calvin Ridley and him having 2 years off. Like Christian Kirk was the wide receiver 1 in that offense last year. So it's like, is he really going to just like fade away and like disappear? Like probably not. He probably has the best, relationship with Trevor Lawrence on that team, at least from the receiving core. So
yeah,
it's a pretty solid pick there. I think he's going to surprise some people this year.
I picked Christian Kirk because I also picked Calvin Ridley in the 4th round. I just I wanted a safety just because Calvin Ridley has a lot of hype, but yeah, you're at 2 years off. Obviously, the 2 years off wasn't due to injury, so there's a reason to believe in him, but we don't know how much of in shape he is, how sharp he still is. That's why I went Christian Kirk, just in case. And if they both pan out well, then I just got to worry about their bye week. So we'll see. I mean, with 3 wide receivers and 2 flexes, I kind of just went with a lot of wide receiver heavy picks in this draft. So that's my reasoning right there.
Awesome. Round 7. Lockett, Hawk. Yeah, Hawk is usually the tight end 3 coming off the board.
Yeah, that's a great pick, Hawkinson. I think he has a lot of potential there. He panned out well after the trade deadline last year for the Vikings. I think even in that NFC game against the Giants, Hawkinson was the guy to kind of help them stay afloat. So I think he's going to take more strides this year with a full training camp with Kirk Cousins. So yeah, great tight end pick over there, especially around 7. It's great value.
I think I know the answer, but does anything stand out to you in this round?
Who the fuck picks a defense in the 7th round? God damn.
Oh, man.
Hey, man. I mean, he's a defending champ, man. So what can I say? But I did mention that you guys had like 6 teams last year, so it wasn't. I mean, yeah, if you had 6 teams, you could definitely pick a defense.
We had 8 last year.
You had 8, okay. Still pretty.
I will say that, I mean, the Niners probably going to be the number 1 defense if they can get Nick Bosa in there, the sooner rather than later. But yeah, 7th round's a little high. I'm just saying, I feel like this is the Aaron draft, dude. Like the segment's about analyzing Aaron's decision making in this draft.
Go for it. I'm sorry.
No, just ebbs and flows, dude. What's what's that shit called when they monitor your heart? It has like the heart rate.
Oh yeah, I'm not too sure.
Oh, that's a good pick. Oh, what the fuck? Oh,
yeah. Yeah, he got the peaks and valleys with his draft for sure.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, but everyone else is kind of solid. Not reaching, except for the 49er defense. Yeah, I felt like you could have got someone nice still with that 7th round pick. I mean, look, there's James Cook, Miles Sanders, Jordan Addison, J.K. Dobbins there, and who knows who's there. So
I'm a big fan of J.K. Dobbins.
Yes,
I went Ravens heavy, but I think I know there's the injury history, but if he's healthy and can get back to what we think he can be, that's a top 20, top 25 running back. So
yeah, I mean, but do you think Gus Edwards is gonna eat into his touches? I mean, obviously he is, but you think by much, or is it going to be efficient enough? Are you looking at J.K. Dobbins as more like, hey, if I get 8-9 points, tight?
So, not to spoil this, like I looked at J.K. Dobbins as part of the Baltimore running back position. So, that's why later in the draft I took Gus Edwards as well.
I see.
Just to
okay.
kind of hedge my bets on it.
Good, solid.
Yeah, I think that running back position in Baltimore is going to be serviceable. In fantasy, I think it's pretty underrated so far. But yeah, I think they'll split for the majority of the beginning of the season, and then we'll see, how their legs are holding up, and if there's confidence in, them running the rock. Should be no issues. So, I think that'll be Dobbins' backfield by midseason for sure.
Cool.
Round 8.
All right, round 8. All right, I gotta say something again.
I take my boy Ayuk. I like Ayuk. I think he's going to continue to evolve. But yeah, there's some names here that I was like, there's a lot of these guys on some of my other teams that I was like, oh, it's good value. That's good value. Like Drake London's good value here.
Yeah.
David Montgomery's also a name to watch out for. Like I mentioned, the Lions running backs. That running game is going to be strong. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. There's injury history with Javonte Williams too last year with his injury, but I think that's a pretty solid running back at this late in the game.
Yeah.
And then Jahan Dotson is like one of the hottest names in the wide receiver sphere of fantasy football.
Yeah. I was looking at
him and Terry getting now linked up with Eric Bieniemy in Washington should be some fun wide receiver play to watch all year.
Yeah, I ended up taking Dalvin Cook in the 8th round because I needed a running back. He was my second running back that I picked in the draft, so I felt like I needed to get something. And I know Breece Hall is there. I don't think Dalvin Cook's going to be the main feature anymore, but I do imagine. I think Dalvin Cook's a bigger body, stronger body to give the ball to him at 1st and goal situations, 3rd and goal situations. So I could get like a touchdown here and there. So
you spoke about Breece Hall. I think this buys you some time early on of having you waited a long time to get your second running back. Like you could probably start him from 2-3 weeks for sure.
Exactly.
And that amount of time you can see how the running backs landscape shakes out those first few weeks and get a better grasp of like who's starting to break out and whatnot, and pivot that way to fill it out. So that's not bad.
Yeah. Thank you. Who did you get? You got Brandon Ayuk. All right, cool. You got your Niners. That's solid.
Yeah. Again, 3 wide receivers, 2 flexes. Like shit, I gotta get some people in. Round 9.
Jonathan Taylor, though.
Yeah. So let's talk about it.
Go for it. I think just to say, I think at this point, it's not bad taking a risk on him. He's a 1st round talent, but there's so many questions, so why not take him at round 9?
For sure. I was scared away with Jonathan Taylor because of just kind of the conversations that have been had in the media by the owner and I guess Jonathan Taylor's camp about how they view the running back position and all that. And he kind of was, and like he tried to find a trade, couldn't find a trade. And now he's out for 6 weeks, first 6 weeks of the season. And even then, like, is he going to want to play or is he going to want to like just keep working out and staying fit so he can get his big contract next year? Like, To me, there was a lot of question marks, but not enough for me not to draft him in round 9 of fantasy. Because by this time, he's either my running back 3 or 4. And if he does come back and plays, you get a round 1 caliber talent in round 9.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out. I'm sure we'll be following that very closely this season on this show for sure.
Anybody else stand out to you in this round?
You mentioned that you thought that someone's draft would be good if they were drafting in 2015.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
shout out Odell Beckham.
I was hoping you'd bring that up. I mean,
just kidding. Round 9, it is what it is. I don't think anyone's really like taking a hold of that wide receiver 1 spot in Baltimore, but it's still kind of high. Who knows? Yeah. He's coming off injury, different kind of thing than Calvin Ridley, like we talked about.
Exactly. Shout out Aaron.
All right, round 10.
All right.
Khalil Herbert, I'm a big fan of in fantasy. He's getting a lot of hype. So I was like, why not? Jackson Smith and Jigba, another guy's been getting a lot of hype in Seattle. That offense still should be really good this year. Michael Thomas taken here. I think he still has some gas left in the tank. And then we saw a little mini run on defenses here with Steelers and Jets. 2 top defenses, I think we can say, pretty safely here for fantasy. But anything look unusual or
nothing unusual? But nothing unusual. But I want to point out AJ Dillon. I was looking at him. I was trying to get him in the following round, but Johnny Lance took him in the 10th. I had him queued. I think AJ Dillon's a good running back to have, especially this late in the round. I think he's more of a pass catcher versus Aaron Jones. So, they get mixed in, and Aaron Jones has an injury history as well. So every time AJ Dillon becomes the RB1, he goes to work. He's kind of similar with Alexander Madison and Dalvin Cook last year. Where, Madison is solid, but Dalvin Cook got most of the work. But anytime Madison got in, he put in work. So I think AJ Dillon is a good talent to have this late in the round. But yeah.
Yep.
Everything else seems normal to me.
Well, this is where it's just like you're kind of filling out your roster.
Exactly.
Round 11. That's Quentin Johnston has some upside in that offense. Who knows if Keenan and Mike can stay healthy. P. Ryan's a good backup for Javonte, like we mentioned about that injury history with Javonte. It'd be good to have his handcuff too. So, anything that stands out here for you?
I got to point out, I know you picked a kicker. It was your 11th pick. But for some reason, I feel like if you're going to pick a kicker in the 11th round, Aaron could have went with Justin Tucker. But, Young Hoku, got to do what you got to do. Another name I like is Zay Flowers. I was also targeting him.
Me too.
I was literally had him queued in this round after AJ Dillon was taken. My boy Johnny Lance always beats me to the punch. So, I think he has some upside, and I think he's got Odell Beckham there to kind of support him. I don't think Odell is going to be that guy to catch a lot of passes. He's there to teach the wide receiver core and show him how it gets done. And come playoff time or towards week 11 through 16, OBJ is going to be there, part of that core. But I think Zay Flowers is, they're investing in him to be kind of the next OBJ, in some sense or some way, some form.
So something really unfortunate happened to me in this part of the draft, and it's why I took Justin Tucker. The 4 guys that were taken ahead of me, I had queued. And they just popped off. Boom. I was like, fuck this, I'm taking a kicker. So I was pretty upset because, like I said, I'm a sucker for stacks. So Zay Flowers would have been part of the wide receiver stack for Baltimore. Gibson and Mostert. Mostert's been climbing a lot lately with the injury to Jeff Wilson. He's probably going to carry that Miami running game for a few weeks early on. That running game should be pretty potent. And Gabe Davis is a guy, too, that a lot of people hyped on last year, and I had him. I had a couple teams that had him on it, and he kind of flopped a little bit. But he did have some games where it was like, oh, okay, there it is. I think he had one game where he is first catch was like a 98-yard touchdown.
Yep.
And then he had like 2 of his next 3 catches were touchdowns, and it was like, holy shit, he had like 30 points already in like the first half of the game.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And so I had all 4 of those guys queued, and none of them made it to me. So yeah, I went with the kicker.
It is what it is. I mean, you're stacking in another way, just with a kicker.
Yeah, I'm stacking the Baltimore kicker. Round 12. Yeah, in this draft I did.
Yeah.
Charbonnet, I think is a pretty solid rookie in Seattle. And then the kicker, we had 2 kickers in this draft.
Nice.
Jake Elliott, would you have taken him at 113? Probably not.
Nah, I was waiting. Like I always pick my defense and kickers the last 2 rounds. I feel like
last 2, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you can get a solid kicker defense, but that's not going to make or break your fantasy season. You could find something on the wire to get those points. So I went with Elijah Moore. I think he has some potential over there at Cleveland with Deshaun Watson. He had potential in the Jets, but he just never had a quarterback that was good enough to get him the ball. So hopefully Deshaun Watson is going to be the same Deshaun Watson from the Texans from a few years ago. So took a risk there. Also, like, I mean, like your pick. I was aiming for Zach Charbonnet too. I had him queued. He was my next pick, and then you snagged him from me, so I went with another wide receiver. But yeah, this is part of the draft where you just gotta pick it and move it.
This is the part of the draft where you're finishing up. You know what you want to get, and people are like taking the whole clock to draft. I don't think it really happened too much in our draft, but generally speaking, yeah. The one thing I did forget to do with this was lower the
time.
Pick time.
Yeah. A minute 30 is kind of long. I think we should have went with like 45 seconds.
Oof, that's too short. A minute's perfect. I did the draft with a minute pick.
I did a draft with 30 seconds, and it was amazing.
Oh shit! Round 13. A couple more rounds here. Cannon, Cowboys, kicker. Daniel Jones going after Aaron Rodgers. Actually, both those guys going around 13. Kind of surprised. I think both have potential to end up finishing as QB1s, like in the QB1 like tier, top 10, top 12 range. Not bad. I do want to shout out Jaylen Warren.
Cool.
He's a guy that's been rising a lot lately too, as Najee's backup in Pittsburgh. They're probably going to run the ball a lot too if Mike Tomlin's scheme history has anything to do with it, or how he likes to control his offense. So not bad there. Yeah. Oh, Saints defense.
That's the one.
If anybody still has drafts, that Saints defense has probably the easiest schedule in terms of them playing quarterbacks that I have ever seen for a whole season. Like they play, they got 3 or 4 rookie quarterbacks are taken on throughout the fantasy season.
Wow. I mean, they have Carolina in their division, so they play them twice.
Yeah.
So
they got Baker Mayfield twice. They got they're playing. I feel like they're playing the AFC South, so they got Richardson down there. They got Bryce Young or CJ Stroud.
Oh wow!
And then Trevor Lawrence is their first test. That's like week 7. They play Mac Jones, I think, the Patriots. It's pretty cake. So if you're still drafting between now and kickoff, Saints defense might be the way to go.
Okay, that's some good insight.
Yeah. Round 14. 3 more rounds here. Yep, I took my backup Gus to go with Dobbins. Tua goes here, Anthony Richardson. Yep, Broncos defense picked by Broncos fan, Californication. Kareem Hunt, where do you think he's going?
Shit, he might go to Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I wanted Kareem Hunt too. I didn't want to get him this early. I was kind of hoping to get him in the
last pick.
the last pick. But shit happens. I ain't mad at it. I mean, it's a high risk or high reward pick too, so he's definitely like round 2, round 1 potential. I think he's been a little handcuffed in when he was in Cleveland because of Nick Chubb being there. So if he goes to Indiana, I think that's a spot. I mean, there's a lot of rumors saying that he will because of the Jonathan Taylor situation. So great pick again by team controller over there. So nice high risk, high reward value at round 14.
That would be pretty big for Indy and for team controller for sure. Mm-hmm. Round 15.
Can we just skip this? God damn.
Yeah, just keep going.
Yeah.
More defenses, more backups.
Yeah.
Let's go around 16.
Yeah, anyone? Hey, I like the Van Jefferson pick. I like your Van Jefferson pick.
That was direct correlation with Cooper Kupp.
Yes.
And who was the next in line? It was him and Tutu Atwell. I think I trust Van Jefferson more though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great pick there.
And with the last pick, Mr. Irrelevant, Tyler Bass.
Yes, sir.
So shout out team controller. Oh, shout out Nara for taking Cameron Dicker. I know there's a lot of negative vibes that go towards Chargers kickers. But they had 2 really good ones, I think, in Dicker and also with who I would call the real D-Hop, Dustin Hopkins. Obviously, but no, he's also D-Hop. So it was funny when the Chargers traded for him. I was like, oh my god, the Chargers got D-Hop, and they're like, whoa, really? It's like, no, like Dustin Hopkins.
Yeah.
But no, he was solid for the Chargers. That Chargers kicking game, if you combine like the kickers last year, it was pretty serviceable. So I just think it's funny because his name's Dicker and he's a kicker. It's awesome. Zeke was taken in this round, last pick for Californication. Kind of curious how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Ramondre's there now. I don't think Zeke's gonna get the touches like he used to, but hey, Ramondre goes down. Shit, then Zeke's we're stepping right up. So yeah, towards the later end of downs, you kind of get a lot of handcuffs, a lot of backups just in case kind of picks. I mean, for example, you got Van Jefferson pending Cooper Kupp status. I think that's a good value, especially Zeke is he's not the same Zeke he used to be, but he's still a big, strong, powerful running back. He can get you a few yards, punch it in the end zone. So yeah, solid pick over there.
For sure, and that wrapped up our Cave Sports fantasy draft, draft that we had. What was that, Friday?
Yep, last Friday.
So all in all, pretty fun draft. We finally got a 10-teamer in here this year, which was great.
Yeah.
So we'll be keeping up and updating y'all as we go throughout this crazy NFL season that we're about to have. Weekly on this show for Cave Sports. Speaking of that crazy season that we're going to have in NFL, it's time for our NFL preview.
Yes, sir.
Something that I've been really excited about talking about. We didn't do a full one last year. I wanted to make sure we did one this year. So any quick thoughts on how you feel right now? If you could sum up your feelings towards kickoff, how are you feeling right now?
I'm super excited. It's going to be, I feel like I say this every year, but there's always so many moves in each offseason as of late, at least like the last 5 years, that, it's always something new. And then with football, you never know who's going to come out on top. It's not like baseball and basketball. You kind of have your same 10 teams depending on the roster. I think, with football, there's like 4 or 5 teams you can count on, but then after that drop off, it's kind of like up in the air. So I'm really excited, especially certain divisions like the NFC South and the NFC North, wide open divisions. So we'll run through each division, but those are my 2 divisions that I kind of am looking forward to talking about.
For sure. Well, we're going to kick it right off with the AFC South division. We're going to work our way division by division as we go through these. So with that being said, AFC South, any thoughts that you have? NFC South.
NFC South. Hey, like I said, wide open. Now that Tom Brady's not there anymore with the Bucks, you got Baker Mayfield, Bucks. You got Derek Carr in the Saints. What's the running back's? I mean, rookie quarterback's name at the Panthers again?
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young, and then Falcons. You got Calvin Ritter.
Desmond Ritter.
So yeah, based on those quarterback names, you don't really know who's going to come out on top. It's going to be exciting. It could be one of those division winners. They come out with like 9-7 or barely over 500 because they're not going to. Their schedules are going to be a little tough against the other outside of their division. So we'll see how they go. I personally think Derek Carr is going to have a renaissance in this division because he's not playing in the AFC West anymore. He has a little more breathing room. He's going against some, Panthers and Falcons, relatively brand new quarterbacks in the NFL, and Bucks. Baker Mayfield, he's like a middle of the pack quarterback. So I think Derek Carr is going to take this opportunity and try to be the same Derek Carr he was a few years ago. So I think the Saints are going to be the division winners here, but it's going to be a close one. Like I said, it's going to be kind of like a 9-8 kind of thing, or 10-7 kind of vibe is what I'm getting.
For sure, yeah. Oh man, there's a lot of different routes to go in this division. Defense-wise, I think either the Saints or the Bucks have the top defense in this division.
Facts.
I probably lean towards Saints having the best home field advantage in this division, which I think speaks a lot to why they're favored this year. Falcons defense, not sure about. Running game is going to be able to grind games out. They might have a lot of low-scoring games. But having a guy like Bijan transforms that running game because then he also becomes an option in the passing game. Drake London, how good is he going to evolve this season? Panthers, complete question mark, top and bottom. You got a rookie quarterback, whole new regime there, but a lot of intrigue there,
Definitely.
Saints probably have, in my opinion, the edge in this division. But then going down to the Bucks, it's going to really depend on the quarterback play. And if they have a good enough defense to be able to keep them in games. So just taking all that into account, I'm with you there. I think Saints are going to win this division.
Cool. Yeah, I am excited because it's a bunch of young talent. Hopefully, I can catch some of these games. I need to get NFL League Pass or something because I want to watch some of these divisional games.
I will say, these teams versus other teams might not be great games, but these division games within this division are going to be phenomenal, I think, all year round.
Exactly.
Just like you said, that's what's going to be exciting about these teams. And we're going to, touch on this as we go, but every division has a storyline. Every division in itself, if you treat them as, these little, pockets in the NFL season as a whole, this is where it's going to be fun when you look at these games. And so when you see Falcons, Panthers on the schedule, or Saints, Bucks, Saints, Falcons, you're going to be like, oh, okay, I'm down to watch that because I'm curious to see how this is going to go.
Yeah.
So moving on, AFC South.
AFC South. Ooh, here's another tough one.
I don't think it's that tough. I'm gonna leave this one off. I'm taking the Bears. They're gonna win this division. The way that Doug Peterson transformed that team, we were talking about this last year. We were jagging off on this show all last year, dude.
Yes, we were.
About how crazy it was that they were each week it was oh my God, they won again, or they lost. And it was they're still hanging in there. They're still impressive. It was Titans division to lose last year, and they lost.
Yeah.
But I think Jaguars are taking this division. However, the question marks, you got two rookie quarterbacks in this division, CJ Stroud in Houston, Anthony Richardson in Indy. The discussion about Jonathan Taylor in Indy, how much is that going to be a distraction? Houston has Ryans as the head coach from the Niners. That defense probably is going to be pretty good, for Texan standards. So it'll be on the up and up, probably a defense to watch going forward. And then the Titans, what Titans team are we going to get? Are we going to get the team from 2 years ago that was a Super Bowl contender, or are we going to get the one from last year that, had a rough time second half of that season getting wins. Definitely think this is the Jaguars' season to lose. What do you feel about this?
100% agree with you as well. Jaguars season to lose. I said tough in the beginning of this because I just don't know out of the other three who's going to be like the second best.
Yeah.
It's not a clear. I think those three teams are going to kind of duke it out to try to get a wild card if they can.
Yeah.
But yeah, to me, Jaguars is the
conference, dude.
Yeah, Jaguars is the clear cut favorite here, especially Doug Peterson transforming that offense, coming off a huge playoff victory last year, coming from behind against the Chargers. Got a lot of confidence, got a lot of swag coming into this next season. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of looking forward to Houston versus Indy. I think those would be some pretty fun games. See those two quarterbacks going at it. But other than that, not really looking forward to this division.
Yeah.
Next up,
NFC North. Ooh, this
NFC North. That's what you were talking about.
I love this division.
Go ahead, take this one.
Well, now that Aaron Rodgers is finally out of the NFC North, I feel like all four of these teams feel like a little weight off their shoulders. Granted, Vikings won the division last year decisively. They were pretty good during the regular season. But, the Lions came into its own form. They kind of started finding their identity. The Bears as well started finding their identity towards the end of the season. Justin Fields started getting more confidence. I feel like this is the Vikings' division to lose, and there's a lot of pressure on them because they had an incredible regular season last year. I think they were maybe like 13-4 last year, or 4, something along those lines.
They won a lot of games.
Yeah, they won a lot of games last year. So I think the Vikings are still the favorite, but I, however, am picking the Lions to win this division. I just think with the swag that they found last year, their confidence, they surprised a lot of teams. The Lions have been on the bottom of the barrel the last couple of years, and they made a huge turnaround last year. So I'm personally picking the Lions to win this division. I love Amon-Ra. I love Jared Goff. I love what they're doing over there. So how about you, Zach? What you got on this division?
So I had it written down for my pick. I am also picking the Lions.
Are we agreeing on that?
I thought so far we're agreeing on the same teams here. The biggest thing that I saw with this Lions team was that with the same thing you said that happened to them last year. I always talk about it in sports whenever I'm coaching or commentating on, like, whenever a game's going on or whatever. I'm like, the best friend that you can have in sports, first name Mo, last name Mentum, right?
Oh yeah,
you need that. That's your best friend Mo, right? Lions have some momentum on their side. The way that Dan Campbell has turned that team around, the way that he's got that whole team buying in, I'm a believer, so I'm gonna put it on record. The Lions winning the NFC North as well.
Let's get it.
Yep. I believe we got AFC North next. If my fantasy draft is any indication, I'm a big fan of the Ravens this year. I think Lamar Jackson putting the contract stuff behind him is a big deal. I think that the offensive scheme that they're going to have to get him to air it out a little bit more is going to be beneficial to the offense and Lamar Jackson's legs, so that when he does scramble, it's going to be effective. Defense is still the Baltimore defense. So all that being said, I am picking the Baltimore Ravens to win this division. I was going to pivot there to Cincy, but I'm going to go all in with Baltimore. And it's going to be like a 12-win season, 11-12-win season. And Cincy's going to have like just one less. It's going to be very close.
Yeah, definitely. It's no question. It's between the Bengals and the Ravens. Hopefully, Lamar stays healthy this year. I know they have a new offensive coordinator that they hired from University of Georgia. I think his name's Todd Monken or something. So,
that sounds right.
I think if they bring that kind of new. I mean, Georgia played their minds out last year. So I think if they bring in some of those schemes, those wide open schemes, you're definitely right. It's gonna open up the offense more, a lot more passing, open up the running game. It's hard because I love Joey Burr. He's a cold motherfucker, man. And I mean, there's not a lot
at every single level of football, dude.
Bruh, and there's not a lot. I mean, not a lot of people can say they beat Pat Mahomes 3 times in a row. I know they lost to them in that AFC Championship game, but prior to that, he beat them 3 times in a row. And that's something to say about how talented that he is as a quarterback, and also how their defense is. For the sake of the show, so it's not boring, I'm gonna pick the Bengals. We should finally disagree on something. It's like doomsday if we keep agreeing on the same thing, because normally we don't. Yeah. So, for the sake of it, I'm gonna pick the Bengals. I don't think they're going anywhere, but like you said, it's gonna be very close. They could possibly lose the division by a game, or it could be tied, and it just depends who won their game against each other. So we shall see.
Every single one of these teams can have 9 wins or more, I think. There's potential for this division.
Yeah.
The Browns team with Deshaun, if they get Houston Deshaun, like on the field, not off the field, but if they get Houston on the field Deshaun.
No massages, Deshaun. No more massages, bro. Just get a massage from your physical trainer, dog.
Just get the massage gun and just go to town. You're like, we sponsored that, dude. Like, for a reason.
Yeah.
Just one note on your Bengals thing that you said about them beating the Chiefs. It wasn't just 3 times in a row. It was 3 times in the same calendar year.
Oh, wow. Crazy.
They beat them like the first week of January that year, and then beat them in the AFC Championship, and then beat them the next time they played next season. It's crazy.
Just a little side note. I had Bengals as a future last year, too. So, and I had an Eagles future, as you all know, in the cave Discord.
Oh, yeah.
So if it was Bengals-Eagles, although I would have been rooting for Eagles, if the Bengals won, I would have still cashed out. So I was very sad when the Chiefs knocked them out in that AFC Championship game.
Yeah, you would have been able to win no matter what.
Exactly. I would have just gone and drunk off my ass and celebrated regardless.
Yeah, no matter what, you're popping bottles like you were in the locker room. Huh?
Yeah. But yeah, all right, next division. What we got?
Division. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
That's for you.
Oh, yes. Thank you, sir. You already know, guys. I'm picking the Eagles. But I will say, history is not on their side. I think, I don't know how many years, but this is the one division where there hasn't been a back-to-back division winner in God knows how long. So it rotates. It's not a certain way, but it's different each year.
It's crazy.
And,
this and the NFC South, I think, are the same way.
Yes, definitely, but with like better talent. I mean, as much as I hate on the Cowboys,
shots fired.
I as much as I hate on the Cowboys, I gotta give them credit. They got better on defense. I think they picked up Stephon Gilmore from the Colts over the past season, one of the Gilmore guys.
Picked up Trey Lance too.
Trey Lance, that's a good. I mean, I don't know how good he is, but if things aren't working out or Dak goes down, that's not a bad quarterback to have. High risk, high reward type of vibe. And then, of course, the Eagles. I think they didn't go anywhere. I feel like they got better. I know they lost. I forgot which free safety they lost from last year, but they made it up in the draft with a bunch of Georgia Bulldogs. I think their front seven just got stronger and younger. And they have a good mix of veteran and young talent. They still got Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham there. Now you got Jordan Davis and drawing a blank, the guy they drafted this year from Georgia.
Is that Carter?
Yeah, Carter, Jalen Carter. And on offense, they were able to keep Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey. They anchor that incredible offensive line. And they lost Miles Sanders, but the Eagles always do a running back committee. And in my opinion, they improved. They got DeAndre Swift and Rashad Penny. Both are injury prone, but if it's a committee, they're not getting as much workload. So I feel like that takes a huge weight off of their body, and they can just perform in the spots that they're called upon. And they kept Jalen Hurts. They still have Jalen Hurts. Obviously, they signed an extension. AJ Brown's still there. Devontae Smith's still there. Dallas Goedert's still there. So I don't think the Eagles are going anywhere. I think this is the Eagles' division to lose as well. A lot of pressure's on them now after going to the Super Bowl last year and hoping to return. But this division is going to be tough. I mean, the Giants. I mean, this division had three teams in the NFC playoffs. Giants and the Dallas Cowboys were two of the NFC wildcard for the NFC last year. So it should be fun, should be competitive. I mean, definitely, I feel like a lot of these divisional games are going to be prime time. I know Giants and Cowboys are playing Sunday Night Football Week 1, so that's going to be fun. We'll get to that during the Week 1 preview. Yep. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Zach? You better say Eagles.
So, you brought up a good point. Like that's what you let off with. Every year this division rotates, right? And every year it's someone different, and weird shit happens. This division will probably have 3 playoff teams again, if I had to guess. And I think the wild cards will probably be the Cowboys and the Eagles, because I'm picking the Giants to win this division.
Wow. Okay.
Like I said with Dan Campbell, I feel like when you get that leader in there that transforms your football team and your organization, it's just contagious and it leads to winning and winning. Brian Daboll, I think, is a great coach. The addition of Darren Waller, like we talked about earlier, is a big thing for Daniel Jones. I think the defense is good enough to keep him in games, and these divisional games here are usually pretty wonky. They're never really super duper blowouts all the time like they should be, based on the talent that we have. For some reason, they just play each other all tough. Exactly. So yeah, I'm going Giants for this division. Hey
man, I can't deny you there, just because of the history the history is not on the side of the Eagles, being the fact, like you said, that it rotates every other year. Yeah, definitely going to be close. Everyone's schedule in this division is a lot harder than last year. I mean, yeah, I think we touched it in the over-under preview, our last episode, but all 3 of these teams are going to play, I believe, I'm not sure if they're all playing the Chiefs, but I know Eagles are playing Chiefs, Niners, Bills, and I'm assuming that all other teams are playing at least one of those teams, because I'm not sure how the schedule is weird. Can you school me a little bit on the schedule and how that works?
So the schedule rotates. Each year, a team will play their own division twice. That makes up 6 games. Then they'll play another division in their own conference for 4, which makes it 10. And then another division from a different conference, which makes it 14. And then now they pick up games against every other division. And
I see.
So this division plays the AFC West, but not everybody plays the same team. So
I see.
It goes based on how you finish in the standings. So
I see. Okay.
Eagles have to play the Chiefs because they both won the division. The Cowboys play the Chargers because Chargers finished second.
I see.
And I think Giants are playing the Raiders and Washington's playing the Broncos.
Okay.
Based on the standings were. Okay. But yeah, it's a harder schedule for sure. It's a harder schedule for the Eagles. That's what happens when you win. And that's part of my decision on this too. Is Philadelphia's going to face a tough schedule. And that Super Bowl hangover, I think, is a real thing. And like you said, I'm a sucker for those kind of stats. That's like, oh, Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season. Okay, so I'm going to pick him to have a winning season again this year. There's a new division every year in the NFC South. Okay, so I'm going to pick the Saints this year because the Bucs won it last year. And so with this one, I'm picking Giants. And it might not be the better team, but it's a new year. It's a new NFC East division winner.
I love your reasoning. And then to point out, last year, the Washington football team, or the Commanders, gave the Eagles their first loss. So that's just how
crazy.
That's just how
that was like a Thursday night football game, or like Sunday night football or something.
Thursday night football, like Jalen Hurts just couldn't get it going. I think we lost. I think they called it was close. They called a weak roughing the passer call towards the end.
Oh yeah, put him in field goal range.
Yeah, put him in field goal range. So yeah, it is what it is.
It's football, baby, because they got the script. They know this shit ahead of time.
Hey man,
all right.
The script said the Eagles are gonna win, so fuck that shit.
AFC East. This is probably the most polarizing division going into our NFL season. That's because Aaron Rodgers is now in part of this division.
Yes.
last year the eyes were on the Dolphins and the new hotness that they got. They got Tyreek Hill and Waddle, new coach, and all that. And they were a pretty good team.
Definitely.
All 4 of these teams are good. For me personally, I'm gonna go Jets.
I'm gonna go Jets. I'm gonna say the same.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I know. I didn't want to agree with you, but for this one, I kind of want to because I think Aaron Rodgers has a lot to prove.
No. I'm going Buffalo. No,
you're going Buffalo?
I'm gonna put Buffalo on here. I'm gonna go Buffalo because this is one of those divisions. To me, historically, has been like you're the champ until you're not. Like,
okay.
And we're gonna talk about this probably within the division coming up here. But until you're knocked off, like, might as well go with them. You know, they are what we think they are, and the Buffalo Bills are my pick for the AFC East.
Okay.
Although the Jets are gonna be good this year.
Yes, 100%. I think last year they were solid. Their defense kept them in games, but their quarterback play was weak. And now they solved that problem with one signing. So it's gonna be interesting. I gotta catch up on Hard Knocks. I only watched like 2 episodes.
Just a real quick thing on Hard Knocks. There was a clip. Shout out Pat McAfee show. They showed this on their show, and it was a clip of like there were struggles and miscommunication in practice on the offense, and Aaron just like was pissed. He did on the sideline, helmet off, taking a knee, and just mad as fuck. And then like his leadership experience came in and started little quirks with players, little quirks with the coaches, and this and that. And like the rest of the practice after he did that, they were rolling.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a little peek as to what is going to happen in a lot of games this season. However, I'm kind of worried about that offensive line, if I'm not going to lie. I think all 3 of these teams have a good enough pass rush to get to Aaron. So to me, it's going to be relying on how quickly they can pick up on that and how long they can keep him upright in the pocket. Defense is going to be good, though. The defense is going to be able to keep him in games. And in episode 1 of Hard Knocks, that's what the D coordinator pointed out. He was mentioning a throw that Rodgers did back. You know, it was
I saw that.
Like a quick little out route, and he threw it to him.
To the corner.
The corner was like, "Hey, we got this guy. We're never going to be out of a game because we have him. Like, we need to play the way that we need to play. We need to stay competitive and blah blah blah." And all he said. Yeah, but
I remember that clip.
That's the difference, and that's what you said. They needed a quarterback last year. They got a quarterback this year, but this is still Buffalo's division. So
can't argue with that.
I had to catch myself in there because I wasn't getting into the hype about it. And I do want Aaron to succeed because he's going to become a villain. Yeah. And I think he kind of gets a bad rap. I think he's a perfect cave athlete to for us to get behind him, Kyrie, kind of cut from the same jib a little bit. So I have a feeling we're going to get a lot of. We're going to get a lot of cave love to the Jets this year and Aaron. But based on this predictions show that we're doing, or this little preview, I'm going Buffalo still. Okay.
Well, quick note, I hope Tua stays healthy because I like Tua. I just like his heart. But it's unfortunate what happened to him last year. So I hope his O-line keeps him upright for the most part. So hope he stays healthy. And fuck the Patriots. I hate the Patriots. But gotta get a quick jab at the Pats. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. NFC West.
NFC West. All right. It's all you, big dog. I know who you like.
Niners.
Yes.
But Seahawks have been on my radar. They put me on notice last year. They got better this year. This is Niners division to lose. I don't think this is the year they're going to lose it. I'm curious to see what happens with the Rams because they still have some pieces on that team that are good and they can still be a good football team. But this is going to be like those Niners-Seahawks games this year. Circle those on your calendars, boys, because those are going to be awesome to watch. But Kyle Shanahan has he's figured out football, in my opinion. As much as it like kind of hurt to see Trey Lance go, because obviously now they're getting mocked for what they gave up to trade for him, and with what players were there at the time, it was like, why? But I'm glad they made a decision, because we talked about that either last episode we talked about football or episodes prior, but like they need to make a decision, because it's two different teams with who's under center. If you have Trey Lance, your offense is different. If you have Brock Purdy, offense is different. I love Sam Darnold being the backup. I'm a big Sam Darnold fan, being a USC fan. I feel like that quarterback, that man, has gotten a bad rap. I don't think he's had an offensive system that has been fully like complimentary of him and his talents since high school, to be honest. He did have Adam Gase with the Jets, but it didn't work. I still don't think they fully trusted him when Gase was there, but I think him and Shannon's system, if Brock Purdy goes down, like what happened last year, which we've talked about before, it's not Josh Johnson back there, it's Sam. I'm confident that, they got some things in place. Please, Niners, extend Bosa as soon as you can. Please, I'm pleading.
If they don't, they're fumbling the bag.
Bring him back, get him in the building, and extend him, make him a Niner for life, please. But yeah, Niners are my pick.
I 100% agree with you. It's the Niners' division to lose. Kind of just to touch on the Trey Lance ordeal, I think the Eagles went through a similar thing where they kind of skipped over in the drafts prior. They didn't take DK Metcalf. They didn't take Justin Jefferson. They took these no-name guys that didn't pan out. But sometimes you just got to accept that you fucked up and make moves. And, like, it is what it is. I mean, we don't have Justin Jefferson or DK Metcalf, but we went to the fucking Super Bowl last year. So I think Niners they owned up to their mistake. They said, well, we fucked up. Time to move on and double down on what we built on last year. So I'm glad they finally made that decision and not keep the quarterbacks in limbo and guessing and on their toes. I think Brock Purdy is a good quarterback. I think now that he has the confidence that he's the QB1 without any question or doubt, I think the Niners are going to be a tough one to beat. And I'm looking forward to hey man, we got to link up for that 49ers-Eagles game this year, because I think we got to make some drinking games out of it too. Just have some fun.
I am 100% down.
All right.
I've told Jerezy too, outside of this, that we really should start thinking about getting some watch-alongs going, getting together, watching some stuff when we can. I'm busy as heck on Sundays. However, like,
we still got Mondays and Thursdays, big dog.
We still got Mondays and Thursdays. Yep. I get off of work right as these games kick off, but I mean, I can probably cut loose a little early sometimes to get this done, because these are going to be fun games to watch for sure. So, all right, we both got Niners. Last division, AFC West. This is the division to watch. This is the division that's going to be the best division in football this year.
Yes.
When we look back on this, I feel like make your jokes now on the Raiders and Broncos, but those teams are going to be both improved.
Yes, definitely.
Get all your Jimmy Garoppolo slander in, because when he's healthy and he's making those smarter throws that Derek Carr wasn't making last year that took him out of games, Jimmy's making those throws. It's going to make it very interesting.
Definitely.
So, go ahead and make your pick first.
All right,
because I'm struggling with this one.
I'm gonna take the Chargers with this one. I think the Chiefs, have a little Super Bowl hangover. They're still gonna be there. It's gonna be close. I feel like the Chargers.
Two teams made the Super Bowl, right? They both gonna hang over.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what happens, right? You drink the juice, you get hungover. But I don't think the fall off is that crazy. It's gonna be to the fucking wire. I think the Chargers
they play week 18.
They both play week 8. That's going to be a fun one to watch. But yeah, like you said, the Raiders just got incredibly better with Jimmy Garoppolo pending his health. Hopefully he stays healthy.
Yes.
But he's not like a big arm kind of guy, but he can thread the needle in a smart way when it's needed. And we got I am proper saying Russell Revenge Tour starts now. Yeah, we'll see.
It's not the Russell Revenge Tour. It's the fucking Sean Payton showing how good of a coach he is tour.
Exactly, yeah. He's gonna
how bad Hackett was at making decisions for that team last year.
Sean Payton got a different cookbook for Russell Wilson, so we'll see. But yeah, it's gonna, like you said, it's gonna be super close. Broncos and Raiders. I mean, it's gonna be fun division to watch. This is, yeah, you're right. This is the division to watch.
I'm telling you. I mean, the AFC North has those 4 powerhouses in it, and they always play good. The freaking NFC North is wide open this year. You know, NFC East is probably going to be really good too. But like, to me, like, with the history of this division and with the changes that were made to the bottom 2 teams in this, the top 2 teams also had changes, but not as drastic. You know, man, this is going to be fun. This is going to be the best division of football this year.
I think one of my buddies has a Charger season ticket, so I know I'm going to a Charger game this year, like a Monday night game. But I remember going.
We're playing the Cowboys Monday Night Football.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I'm going to.
Sick.
I did watch a Monday night Chargers Raiders game. I'm not sure if it was last year or 2 years ago, and it was just electric in that building. Like, being in LA, there's a shitload of Raider fans to begin with. So it was a lot of screaming, a lot of yelling, a lot of fun. So it's playoff atmosphere in the middle of the season. So each of these games, divisional games, should be prime time for the most part. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this division. Who are you picking? We still haven't got to your pick.
So
just say it. Spit it out.
I said something earlier that I'm not going to go back on.
Okay.
You know, I said that, and like, until you show me something different, like, you are who you are. You know.
Yeah.
I think the loss of Eric Bieniemy, like, I really want to buy into that and really put, like, all my eggs in that basket, thinking that's going to hurt the Chiefs. But then it's like, how much control did Bieniemy have of that offense? Like, it's Andy Reid's team, right? Like,
Andy Reid's team.
Was just
yeah, I mean, if you watch Quarterback on Netflix, like, there's a lot of teamwork in terms of what plays are called. I mean, Pat Mahomes calls his own goddamn plays, and he just gets like a stamp of approval once in a while. But, you know, you're right, Eric Bieniemy was a huge part of that offense, but at the same time, Andy Reid is the mastermind. So you're 100% right on that.
So this pick is contingent on, is it Chandler Jones that's hanging out, or that's holding out?
Yes.
So I think he's going to get back in that building, and the Chiefs are going to win this division again.
Hey, that's not improbable.
Every time I think that, like, they're not going to win it, they still win the division at least. Like, they still are the number 1 seed in the AFC. It's super frustrating.
I hope you're wrong, though.
I hope I'm wrong too. It does kind of go against my Super Bowl hangover thing that I have with the Eagles. But the counter to that thinking that I have with this, and this is being straight up, is the consistency of that NFC East, like you said, has been volatile, and it just shifts every year. Like, whereas with the Chiefs, they're just a powerhouse. So until someone knocks them off, I'm gonna keep picking them.
Okay. That's fair. Very valid. But this is the year that for them to lose, because a lot of past seasons. Sorry, go ahead.
I really want to pick the Chargers so bad. I'm sorry, but I'm going to stick with the Chiefs this year.
All right, bet. Yeah, I mean, like you said, it is their division to lose. They haven't shown anything that they're going to slow down. But being that the bottom 2 teams, the Raiders, Broncos, got a lot better this year, we just don't know. We just don't know how it's going to play out. This could be like the NFC East, where there's 3 teams in this division that make the playoffs.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be for sure. I don't think it's going to happen because I'm writing in my wildcard teams right now.
Okay.
Based on how the division went for me personally, I don't think another team's going to make the playoffs other than, there'll be another team that makes the playoffs in this division.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. This is going to be the best division of football. I'm excited to watch these games this year. And, I'm picking the Chiefs.
Sounds good. Wow. All right. That's our
deep dive there.
divisional preview.
Yeah, let's highlight some of these primetime games on the docket this year. Like you said, Week 1, Cowboys, Giants. They don't have, let's see, Dolphins, Patriots. That'll probably be pretty good. Just skimming through these. Obviously, Chiefs, Jets is going to be appointment viewing. Cowboys, Niners, hey, classic rivalry there. Any other games that you're skimming through here that are like you're going to be like must watch?
Yeah, I definitely want to catch that Dolphins-Eagles game. I must have skipped my mind, but that's going to be a fun one to watch. I think that's going to be high scoring. Another one that stands out is I really like the Jags, Baltimore, in Week 15. That could have playoff implications towards the end. Divisional implications, seeding implications, whatever you want to say with that. And also, those are the ones that stand out to me. Yeah. How about you?
Give me that Bengals Bills game. Yeah, thanks.
Bengals Bills. Yeah, Bengals Bills. There it is. I forgot. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, give me that one. Giants Bills as well. A couple weeks prior to that.
Okay, little New York State rivalry right there.
A little playoff implication battle here. Baltimore Chargers should be good. And then, of course, Eagles Cowboys, right? That's always
fun. Yeah. Why am I missing that? Of course. I gotta link up with
Eagles Cowboys. Always fun.
I gotta link up with Aaron when we watch that too. Talk my shit.
We might have to get everyone together for that one. But yeah, man.
Cool.
Sunday Night Football. Let's go to Monday nights now.
Monday night. All right.
Kicking off with go back to the Mondays.
Yeah,
Kicking off Bills Jets.
That's gonna be fun. Yeah.
Yep.
I want to bet the
Browns Steelers is always going to be one of those like weird, like boring AFC North games that ends up being really good.
Yeah, Browns Steelers. I'm intrigued by that Cowboys. Yeah, the Cowboys Chargers game. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be at that game. I'm looking forward to that. Also,
Niners
Eagles
Vikings
Chiefs,
right after that.
Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl rematch week 11.
Week 11, yeah, circle that one for sure. Fuck. Chargers Jets is going to be good. That's that West Coast team traveling east type thing that always usually scares me when I'm looking at those games. That's a Monday night primetime game, so a little different. It's not like a 10 a.m. Sunday game.
Yeah, primetime Monday night.
Yeah, Eagles Chiefs, Bengals Jaguars.
Bengals Jags, yeah, that's gonna be fun. I like that Lions Cowboys matchup. That matchup intrigues me in Week 17.
Week 17, that's the last Monday Night Football game? Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
To be determined doubleheader, Week 18. On Monday.
Wow.
Interesting. So, possibly like Chargers Chiefs, like we talked about. Those Week 18 games that are like for the division. Those will be the games that have the most implications on like two teams are playing each other. The winner goes to the playoffs, the loser goes home, or winner gets the division. Christmas Day, Baltimore Niners.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. Nice.
That's gonna be fun. Back in the day when Harbaugh was the coach, those games were dope.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Harbaugh versus Harbaugh.
Super Bowl blackout rematch.
Yep. And so naturally we move on to Thursdays.
Yes.
Thursday night football doesn't start until technically it's week 1 with Lions Chiefs. But for their Thursday night football schedule, it usually gets rolling around week 2.
It's that Thursday night football action at producer. Hit me with that Thursday night football, baby. Yeah.
And of course, the Eagles are up first.
It has to be. But yeah, it's a good matchup. Vikings. I know Eagles fucked them up last year. I think the Vikings are looking for a revenge on Thursday night, so we'll see. I also like that Giants Niners matchup.
Yeah, that's gonna be dope.
And I'm so glad that they made Thursday night football like good matchups, because when they first introduced it, it was like the worst matchup. Like no one would watch that shit.
Yeah, it was really bad. And they don't have too many bad ones this year.
Yeah. Broncos Chiefs. That's gonna be a good one.
Broncos Chiefs. Yep. Titans Steelers. They might not have the best records at that time, but that game's going to be pretty good.
Okay. Hey, you got Bengals.
Baltimore against Bengals. Yep. Mm-hmm. Black Friday, we get a game. First ever Black Friday game. Dolphins, Jets in division. Next week after that, Seahawks Cowboys. That's going to be good. And then you get these divisional matchups. Like you get Lions Packers early on, Broncos Chiefs, like you said, and then you get Chargers Raiders, classic rivalry game. Yeah, the game quality kind of stops there at the end of the season.
Yeah, Rams Saints.
Like Chargers Raiders might be the last good game on this on the schedule.
Jets Browns might be good depending on how the Browns do in the regular season. Yeah, so we'll see.
Definitely depends.
All right.
So those are the primetime games. Let's get into a little week one.
Week one, I got some picks too I want to give out too.
Nice.
Pretty much just one pick that stands out to me, but we'll go line by line and I'll let you know which one that stands out. So we got Lions Chiefs. That's going to be interesting. I feel like Lions have a high octane offense, so I think that's going to be high scoring. Panthers Falcons divisional game. Texans Ravens. Ravens should come out on top of that one.
Yeah.
Bengals Browns could be good. Yeah, Bengals Browns would be interesting. Jags Colts. I'm definitely picking. I forget the line. I don't know the line on that one, but I want to pick the Jags. I want to fade a lot of the bad teams early on this year when it comes to sports betting, because usually the lines aren't that crazy yet until their records start to become
like what was that, like 3-4 weeks?
Yeah. So the one
Titans Saints will be good.
Yeah, Titans.
Niners Steelers will be good too.
Who are the Cardinals playing? That's the one I want to pick. Yeah, Commanders Cards. That's my pick of the week. I think Commanders are -7, and the Cardinals are going like west to east coast. Cardinals are just bad this year. Early game. So I just feel like Commanders are going to take a hold of this. Win by a touchdown should be pretty simple for Commanders, because given their defense is still pretty stout. Any week one matchups outside of the primetime games that stick out to you?
So outside of the primetime games, I mentioned Titans Saints will probably be a game. Niners Steelers will probably be a good game. That's another West Coast team going east. That afternoon slate is really good. Packers Bears. So just in case everybody notices, or if anybody's recognized it, but the afternoon slate of these games normally, there's one game that's really good and the rest are kind of garbage. Looks like we have 3-4 games that are going to be pretty interesting here. Packers Bears is going to be good.
Nice.
Raiders Broncos is going to be good. Dolphins Chargers is going to be good.
Yeah.
And I think Eagles Patriots will actually end up being a pretty good game too. It's going to be interesting to see what Bill Belichick has up his sleeve for the Eagles week one. One thing I did want to point out, I know earlier or off camera you were talking about Chiefs Lions. Just want to bring this to everyone's attention that are watching this and trying to bet this game. Historically speaking, I don't think Andy Reid loses many games when he has rest.
I see.
When his teams, when they're coming off a bye or they're playing a team that is playing on short rest, they usually win.
Okay.
I think when I started noticing it was when they played the Patriots week one after the Patriots won the Super Bowl and they destroyed the Patriots.
Oh wow!
It was one of those games where it was 40 to 15 or something, stupid. And Andy Reid with rest usually successful, so I'm pretty much willing to hammer whatever the Chiefs have that game.
Let me take a look at the line right now. Pull up some lines on my phone.
Pull that up.
Yeah, so Chiefs
if I were a betting man.
Yeah, Chiefs are -6.5. So that's pretty solid.
If I were a betting, they're going to probably win by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's nothing against the Lions. They're our division pick. It's just one of those things that happens in football and these trendy things that we can look at. You can
Stats don't
obviously it
lie.
could be seen as cherry picking what stats you want to go with, but like that's something that I believe in.
So I will say, I want to say, pulling up this app called Pick It. No ad, no free ads. I just like this
No
app.
free ads.
This app is really good on giving out how the money spread out on picks. So right now on the spread, a lot of money, 70% of the money is on Detroit spread, and usually
Really?
usually on primetime games, the public loses. So
Okay.
I'll probably ride you at the Chiefs -6.5 because they're playing at home. I don't know why the public is
I
so,
know.
I don't know what's so great. I mean, the money line mostly is on the Chiefs, but I mean the
I'm
juice is
surprised that you're saying that right now.
yeah. I'm looking at it like it looks like the public is heavy on the line spread, but most of the money is on the Chiefs money line. But it's a terrible line, -275. I'm not playing that straight up.
Yeah, and that's a shame because I feel like when the public loses that bet, they're going to be sour on the Lions, which sucks
Yeah,
because they don't deserve that. It's just one of those things. Like
it's week one.
Sorry, the
against
Lions are going to
Liverpool
lose one
champ.
game this year. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they might lose
Jeez.
5.
Yeah, they might lose 7. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
Like, it's the Lions, right?
Yeah.
And this is like the
Yeah.
first time that we're talking about the Lions this way, going into the season.
Hey, if anything, this is a good thing for the Lions because they finally get a primetime game on week
This is
one.
a big game.
Yeah,
This is a big game.
Yeah.
It's the first game of the season. This sets the tone for the rest of the NFL. Like, I'm really shocked that they picked Lions Chiefs just because it's the Lions and they're not quite there yet. There
Yeah,
was some other. I figured it was going to be a Super Bowl rematch. To be honest with you,
or like a AFC rematch of some sort,
or like Chargers Chiefs.
Yeah, like because I went to so last year, the Rams were the reigning champs. I went to week 1 at SoFi on Thursday night. It was Rams Bills. Yeah, Rams Bills.
Yeah.
That was a
Cooked
fun one. Bills Mafia like kicked their ass.
They're
but-
nuts, huh?
Yeah, they're fucking
fucking
crazy. I mean, they're not.
So this is. I have a little story about Bills Mafia.
Okay.
So I went. I showed up to work one game, and I had to get to the stadium super early, and the Bills were in town, and they were there when I got there.
That's
and the game
insane.
was like a 125 kick,
Uh-huh.
and this was back when like Peterman was their quarterback, and he was their starting quarterback, and Tyrod was the backup.
Oh wow!
And I remember this game vividly because Peterman threw 5 picks in the first half and got benched, and Tyrod almost led them back into the game and got a dub.
Was
But
this?
I get to the state.
I'm sorry. Was this at Home Depot before SoFi?
This was at Dignity Health Sports Complex. Yeah,
Dignity Health Sports Complex. Okay. And
it might have been
Carson,
StubHub before it was even Dignity Health. Yeah.
right? Okay.
So
The one in Carson, though, right?
I have to. What's up?
The one in Carson, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have to get to the stadium. I was roughly there. I was there like 8:30. When I got out of my car, like there was already noise coming from the Cal State Dominguez campus.
That's fucking
Like they
insane.
were bumping music, they were drinking. People were like lined up all the way out to like the parking lot almost because the parking lot I had to park to was adjacent to the dorms and stuff. Like people were already there. It was Buffalo fans.
It's
And
insane,
I was like,
bro.
holy shit! Like what's going on over there? Is that like a college party? They're like, no, the Bills are in town. And Bills Mafia is real.
Yeah.
And they travel well, so I'm not surprised to hear that you experienced Bills Mafia in full force.
It was a lot of fun, but yeah, it was like hella fucking loud every time the Bills scored. I'm like, bro, like, aren't I in LA right now? Like,
I know.
And after talking to some of Bills fans around me, a lot of them live in LA or California. They just moved out of Buffalo.
Yep.
Like literally, like five out of 8 people I talked to around me from, just like jibber jabber, friendly banter, talking a little shit. But towards the end, I'm like, all right, fuck you guys won. Like, where are you guys from? Like, what part of New York? And they all said Buffalo, but they live in LA. Like, they all live in LA. So they just said
People get tired of the snow, dude.
Exactly, that's exactly what they said. They're like, I'm just tired of the fucking cold, but I ain't tired of the fucking Bills. That's what one guy told me. So
love that.
Shout out to the Bills Mafia. They travel well.
Shout out Bills Mafia.
Yeah, but yeah, that is a weird matchup. I would thought, a little more higher caliber opponent for the Chiefs, but I don't know. Maybe the script wants to give them a week 1 victory right off the bat. We'll see.
Who knows? Yeah. All right, moving on.
All right. Whoa, this is
prediction time.
Let's go. Super Bowl predictions. Time to put my future picks in, baby.
Who do you got winning the NFC?
The Eagles.
Okay.
Yeah, we all knew that. That was kind of a given, being my what team I like. But I will say, I think the AFC winner this year is going to be the Bills. I think they've just been so close every single year, and something like 2 or 3 plays just doesn't go their way. And I think this year is the year that they finally get over the hump and make it to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm calling Bills Eagles Super Bowl matchup.
Bills Eagles wild card Bills for you, by the way.
Yes, wild card Bills. Yep,
from the wild card.
Mm-hmm.
So you think they get a little bit of adversity not winning that division, and now it's like,
I think
all right, we got to play football again.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like they've been divisional winners, but when it's time to crunch, time to grind, I think Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, that whole crew is gonna make something happen.
All right, and so we'll save your Super Bowl winner.
Yes.
Until I give mine. All right. So in the NFC,
let me guess.
I'm gonna go with the Niners. Yeah, I think they're gonna take the NFC, and they're gonna have a healthy quarterback in the NFC Championship game this year, and they're gonna do what they were supposed to do last year, and that's get to the Super Bowl.
I will say I think it's going to be Niners Eagles in the NFC Championship again. I think the drop off. I think the drop off between those two teams is pretty far in the NFC. It's not like the AFC where there's a bunch of talented quarterbacks. So yeah, I definitely feel the NFC is for the Niners and Eagles to lose.
Yeah. So that's what we brought up early on, right? Was like there's usually a couple teams that are going to be good and this and that. Unfortunately, the NFC only has a couple, right, that are atop that conference, whereas the AFC has a lot.
Yes.
And your AFC champion came from the wild card, and my AFC champion is coming from the wild card.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with the Chargers to get to the Super Bowl this year.
Hell yeah.
And so my Super Bowl matchup is Niners-Chargers for an all-California Super Bowl.
A little West Coast vibes. Okay.
Yeah, a little West Coast. Hey, maybe your boy's in the building for that one, right? Like, that would be awesome.
I know, right?
Wouldn't that be crazy?
Bro, Vegas is going to be fucking lit. Like, I'm trying to...
Yeah.
I don't know if I can afford to be at the game, but I can definitely afford to be in that fucking city during the Super Bowl. So I might
100%.
I might try to make something happen.
Hey, we might see if we need to get like some sort of like Super Bowl watch along in Vegas for the cave, right? Yes, like the cave crew. Get somewhere and watch this game.
We'll figure something out.
I mean, if I'm working it, then I don't know. I can't help out. But
hey, man, if you're working it, you better fucking give me a shirt, but I'll not work with you.
Oh man, no, I'm picking Niners Chargers. I think this is the year, and this is where everyone's gonna get a little bit of insight from me. I always hope for the most beneficial matchup for me is. With this kind of things. Every year I pick Angels-Dodgers. Why? Because wouldn't it be sick to see Angels-Dodgers in the World Series?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Niners-Chargers. And I'll go ahead and make my pick first since you gave me your champions first.
All right.
It's tough for me. This is a tough one. But I'm going to say this, okay? Historically speaking, this is two completely different franchises when it comes to success in the NFL, right? You got 5-time Super Bowl champ 49ers. You got one-time getting there LA Chargers. I think this is the year for the Chargers to win the Super Bowl.
All right.
This is going to cap off the craziest NFL season that we've had in terms of competitive games, storylines going into the season, storylines developing during the season. But I think hosting the Lombardi Trophy at the end of the season is going to be the Chargers.
Hey, man. I love it. I think I came into the segment because I need to diversify my investments in the Super Bowl futures realm, because right now I only have the Eagles. So I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit on the Chargers and Niners as well.
Okay.
But that being
It's a
said,
dangerous game you're playing, though.
hey, that's the name of the game. It is what
It's
it
gambling,
is.
right? It's a bit of a gamble.
If my team ain't winning, I better fucking be cashing out a little bit still. So
So you're taking the Bills in. Okay, let me circle you in for the Bills.
no, fuck that. No, I mean I might put Bills in too, like because last year I always pick 4 teams, 2 from the NFC, 2 from the AFC. So I think this year I'm gonna ride with Chargers, Niners, also adding the Bills, but also obviously I'm picking the Eagles this year. I think like I said, they got better. I think their schedule is gonna test them a little bit better, because last year we all know the Eagles' schedule was a little bit on the softer side, which helped them get the first round bye. But regardless, they were able to. That's not their fault that the schedule is like that. But so I think this year now they get to face Super Bowl tier teams like the Chiefs, Bills, Niners in the regular season. And even if they win or lose those games, they can look at themselves in the mirror and fix whatever they need to fix, pending, the film that they see. And I think that being said, with that adversity you go through in the regular season, because I mean we see the Chiefs, they have a lot of tough games. I mean they played the Bengals and the Chargers last year in the regular season. That kind of preps them for the playoffs. Versus the Eagles last year, they didn't really see too many teams in the regular season prior to playoffs. So when it came to crunch time, it's not like they fucked up, but there was like 2 or 3 plays that didn't go their way. And I think if they're able to look at film throughout the regular season and then use it as part of their game plan for the playoffs to make adjustments, I think that puts them over the hump. And I just feel like I just love Jalen Hurts. He's so humble but confident at the same time. It's rare.
Mm-hmm.
He reminds me a lot of Patrick Mahomes as well. Just humble but confident. Got swag but not arrogant. They ride that fine line of where you want to be, and very balanced, very centered. So I'm calling Eagles this year. But based on your picks, I want to diversify my portfolio a little bit too in my bookie. So let's see what happens by February.
I mean, you did pick the Chargers to win the division, so
yeah.
Just based on like where you're coming from, that means a lot to win that division. That's kind of a big deal. If they supplant the Chiefs atop the AFC West this year, like that means something went really right.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm just more along the lines of like historically, like what's been happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I've said this a lot on these podcasts about this NFL season, and there's something that's just been constant when I think about how this year's coming up as we close this episode out. The NFL 2023 season has the potential to be the craziest season of all time. Based on competition of games, storylines like I mentioned earlier, and just how the game has been evolving. Just within like how historically it was like a run first league, and now it's all about passing.
Yes.
The AFC on its own has at least 7 quarterbacks that should make the playoffs, but they probably have closer to like 10.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That are starting quarterbacks on teams right now that are playoff, Super Bowl, or Hall of Fame caliber quarterbacks. AFC is going to be ridiculous all season.
Yeah.
And so when I started thinking about that, for me, the NFC, like in contrast, is like you have the Eagles and Niners that are just head and shoulders above everybody, right? But then when you start looking at who's next in line, it was like there's like 7, 8, 9, 10 teams that are like, if everything goes right for them, they're going to make noise.
Yeah, I mean,
it's going to be absolutely ridiculous all year, and I am so excited to be able to watch this season unfold with everybody in the cave. Francis, you and I have talked offline and on camera about
Mhm.
this, and it's just like this is going to be exciting.
I'm super excited. I think it's gonna be fun, especially for us, because we're gonna expand on this a little more to our viewers out there. We promise these weekly episodes aren't going to be an hour and 45 minutes long, but we will be giving out weekly shows, kind of previewing each matchup, maybe little sports picks here and there, breaking down some lines. I think last year I was kind of in and out, just giving like a little video clip and sending it to y'all. But I'm all in this year, so can't wait to have Naro and Proper on and some of the other guys on the cave to kind of break down each week. So yeah, man, looking forward to it.
Yep, absolutely. Like you said, each week we're going to be diving into this stuff. This is a long episode as it needed to be because we broke down every division. We recapped our cave draft and gave some picks both for week 1 and for the end of the season. So yeah, with that being said, expect to see us again. After week 1 games are over, we'll be back on here giving you a recap of what happened in NFL. We're going to try and do cave fantasy recaps, and then anything that pops up in the sports world that's super noteworthy. We'll touch on it in those weekly episodes. If we have to make a second episode, we will. We're all about committing to that sports content for you this season, for sure, for football, and just riding that momentum in all the way through the end, through February, through Super Bowl. And so we'll see what crazy stuff we can come up with here in the cave.
For sure.
The cave is pretty crazy.
We love our sports in the cave. I can't leave the Matrix. I love sports too much.
I know, right? It's like, come on, man. Like this is the best. Like, why do I want to unplug? Like, this is why I'm plugged in. So
yeah, exactly.
No, for real though. Again, check us out, k4v3.com. Check out our sports page. Check us out on IG, X, on our Discord. We're going to be pretty active in there in the football section and the fantasy section too, for sure. Spotify has got our pods on it as well. YouTube, we go live with this weekly on our sports show, and you'll see it posted the next few days after that. Cave of Wonders, I'm hearing a lot about that internally. I know that's a project that Jerezy is super hyped about, so be on the lookout for more Cave of Wonders stuff.
Trying to get weird.
And yeah, check out this merch. We got merch dropping. We're also going to be coming out with more merch and involving that part of the cave. Any last words, Francis? What you got for him?
All I gotta say is I'm looking forward to the season again. I'm looking forward to linking up, doing watch-alongs, maybe in person, having a beer or 5 with my boys, catching some games. But yeah, anyways, like okay, well, was that Zach said? Catch us all on the socials. We'll be constantly putting out content for football and other sports as well. So please give us a follow. We appreciate your time.
Yep. With that, we're out. Be easy, everybody.
Peace.